Hello. The video you are about to see contains images of dolls only.
Hello everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We're rocking and rolling.
So as you can see today, we have the fantasy babies. And there is a reason for that. But today we've got a chatty video today because we have not only got some things to talk to you about, we have some news, we also have a tag, and we also need to ask you something. So who have you got first, Mr. B?
Well, I've got Azuri today.
And she is our baby Avatar. She's so beautiful.
I know.
Hello, little girl. Where's your tail? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Just have to make sure that that tail stays safe.
Yes, it's all right. It's quite okay there.
Oh, hello, sweet girl. And I have our little unicorn girl. This is Tourmaline, or Tormy, as we call her for short.
Now, we were fighting over her just before we
were.
started because I said I was going to have her this time.
And Zori has her beautiful little pink onesie. She only likes to wear sort of as little as she can get away with, Zori does. So she's just dressed in a onesie, even though it's winter. She does not like to wear too many clothes.
Well, she needs all that freedom to swing in the trees and everything,
right.
doesn't she?
She does. But Tommy is wearing, I forget what colour this onesie is.
It's white with little pink love hearts, looks
Love
like.
hearts, that's right. And then she's got this gorgeous pink tutu. Gorgeous, lots and lots of frills and a big satin bow at the waist. And she just looks absolutely delicious in this. And she's beautiful colour. She's like lilac and pink. And she's got the most lovely little horn. It looks like twisted barley sugar. She's all glittery where she's lilac. She's just delicious. And they're both full body silicons. So they're gorgeous little girls. Now, the news is that we are expecting another fantasy baby in the Strawberry Moon. Hoping he'll be here next week. Yes, it is a he, I'll tell you that much. And I'll tell you another exciting thing. He is pre-loved, so he's not a custom made specially for me, but he is a bean baby. He comes from the Twisted Beanstalk Nursery, and I never thought I would ever own a Twisted Beanstalk, not even a pre-loved one, in my wildest dreams, because you just don't see them.
They're meant to be fantastic, aren't they?
I've heard such a lot about Bean Shanine's babies. Basically, she's the doyenne of fantasy babies, or so I've heard. She's won awards and all kinds of things. So I am very, 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 very excited. Basically, I'd had a really rubbish week and I was feeling incredibly ill. I've had brutal bone pain this week and I had the broodies, but I didn't think the time was right for us to have a new baby. But I was just looking on eBay like you do for a certain kind that I rather wanted, and I didn't think there'd be anything. And most of the fantasy babies that are available are in the US. We don't have many over here. And I just particularly saw this one, and it was just there, and it was at a price I could afford, and I'm like, oh wow. So I got some more info about it, and everything looked good. So cross your fingers for me.
Yes.
Cross your fingers for me. So hopefully next week I'll have something to show you. So that's my news. So we have a tag to do now. This comes from, I don't know where it came from originally, but I saw it on Christi's Little Reborn Journey channel. And I don't know where it originates from, but I thought it was a good tag, so I thought we would do it now. So, Mr. B, do you want to fire away?
I will fire away. Yes, I've got it right here. So, it's 10 questions on this one, by the looks of it. And the first one is, do you like your name?
No, I hate my name. because my first name is Tony, and I was named after a hairspray, Toni.
Okay.
And I detest it. I always have. I actually now, when I was grown up and left home, I called myself by my middle name, which I now much prefer. And actually, my middle name then got kind of not shortened exactly, but changed to Lulu, which I now like even better. So I like that name. But my first name I can't bear and never have been able to bear. So.
But I call you Louise when we're in polite company, don't
Yes,
I?
you do.
Yes. Okay, the next one then. If you don't like your name, which one would you choose?
Well, there's a story behind this. My parents were going to christen me Tamsin Amy. Now, Tamsin, when I said that to my friend Nicole, from Nicole's Little Ones, she'd never heard that name before.
I think that's great, actually.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tamsin is a sort of Celtic British name. I've heard Tamsins in England a lot, and I've also heard them in Wales and Ireland. I can hear that my voice is not very good today. I'm sorry about this. Anyway, I love the name Tamsin, and they didn't name me it because my mother's family objected and said it was too posh. And I wish they'd stuck to their guns, because I
really like that.
Very happy with the name Tamsin. So yeah.
If I was a girl, I was going to be Susan.
Well, I'm glad you weren't then in that case.
Right.
Not that I have anything against Susan, but Susan's quite a sort of ordinary name. There are millions of Susans.
If you could write a book, what topic would it be about?
Now, it's funny this, because I've often daydreamed about writing a book, and I can write a bit. I write things on a website, stories about the dolls and things, but I do not have the drive. You need to have drive, energy, and work really hard to write a proper book, and I just don't have that. But if I could really have the energy and the drive necessary to finish a book, first draft and revised draft and line proofreading and edit, do all that I need to do to get a draft off to a publisher. I'd like to write stories about Bert, a book about Bert, about his background and his life and his family and the things that he does. Because I made all that up when I was writing Bert's diary in 2012. And he has got a whole background, a whole character, a whole life. And I think it would be interesting if I could write that as a novel. But I just don't have the energy to do it, and I wish I did.
Yes, when you hear about authors and so on, you hear that they are very disciplined, aren't they?
Very.
They do spend X amount of hours writing and whatever, which obviously if they're successful they have to do, don't they?
It's very, very hard work. It was hard enough. The only year I managed to complete his diary from beginning to end was 2012, and I just got iller after that, and it was so tiring. I just couldn't keep it up.
What makes you upset or angry most?
People saying hurtful things to my friends or to Brian. It's bad enough if someone's hurt me. That hurts, obviously. But if somebody has a go at B or has a go at my friends, it makes me see shimmering scarlet. And it's something I find very hard to forgive. That really, really gets to me.
What makes you the happiest?
Being with B and being with the babies. There is nothing in this world that makes me happier. I've found in the end that that's the one thing I can totally rely on. It's a sad world. I've made lots of good friends, but I've found that the one thing I can totally rely on is B and the babies.
We're always here. We're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. I hope so.
What do you look for in a friend?
Loyalty. And common ground, obviously. But mostly loyalty. I really can't be doing with somebody who lets me be talked about behind my back and talked down and won't stand up for me. And said, well, they haven't done anything to me, so I'll just let it pass that someone's saying hurtful things about you behind your back. That is unforgivable in my book. It's just so bad. And I'd never take it myself. I'd never let it happen myself. So I don't expect it from other people. As I said, I've got wonderful friends and I bless each and every one of them. But yeah, loyalty is the main thing I look for in friends.
I'd agree with that. What were your favourite childhood movies?
The Wizard of Oz. That was one of my total favourites. I look forward. They always had it on at Christmas, and I loved it always. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I can never say that. Loved that one too. Mary Poppins. I loved it when that one came on at Christmas. I particularly love the bit when she's giving them the medicine. It's a silly thing, but sound has always been important to me, and I particularly love that sound when she's pouring the medicine and it bubbles out of the bottle. I don't know why. I used to wait for that bit to come on. And I used to love that. If someone talked over it so I missed the bubble, I used to be really annoyed. Yeah, so I think those three were some of my favourites. I did think of others, but I can't remember them now.
Yes, I used to really like musicals, even adult-related musicals. When I was 5 or 6, I would always look forward to, on a Saturday afternoon, on a channel we had over here called BBC Two, because what they used to do was replay some of the really old films from the 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were musicals. And there was one I remember called Naughty Marietta. And it had, it was based on an opera, but it had this song in it called Tramp, Tramp, Tramp Along the Highway.
Oh, I know it. You played it on the radio.
Yes, Nelson Eddy it was.
Jeanette
and there
MacDonald,
was Jeanette MacDonald. I just fell in love with her voice. It was partly operatic, but it was a lovely voice, and I used to listen to her all the time.
They used to call her the Iron Butterfly, you know.
Ah, right.
She was not the easiest dame to work with.
No. But then on the radio there was a series called Hooray for Hollywood. And that had a lot of the old musicals on as well, and I really got to learn about those films, and that's what I really remember when growing up. But yes, all those were good as well that you mentioned too. I used to like those. Describe your personality.
Slightly feisty at times, unashamedly a little bit eccentric. Ferociously loyal, always up front, incapable of concealing what I'm feeling. And if I love you all the way. There's no half measures with me. I think that would sum me up, don't you?
I think that's a fair assessment, yes.
Yeah,
well done, because that's not easy, is it, when you're asked that kind of question. Turning to something completely different, in fact, do you like to show your face on YouTube?
Yes, it's a case of have to, really, but I do like to show my face. I understand people who, for whatever reason, decide not to, but I have always decided that I'd want to be in front of the camera. I call it vanity, but I want you to see who I am. You know, this is me, warts and all. What you see is what you get. So yeah.
And what are 3 fun things you like to do?
Let's see. I like to role play with the babies outside of anything to do with YouTube. When I'm with my best friend, it's great because without, maybe without even having a baby near us, I like to just go off into an imaginary world and make it come alive. We're just nattering on FaceTime and we'll be talking about the kids. And I can be feeling as rubbish as it comes, and yet just escaping from reality for a little while can make me feel better. And I know that it's escaping from reality. It's not losing my grip on reality. It's just choosing to let it slide for a little while. That's a fun thing. It's a very fun thing. Reading. I don't know what my life would be like without books. I go to sleep to a book every night. I read a lot during the day. I love to read. I've always had books. My life would be a lot poorer without books. Shopping. I bless the internet very, very much. And I really, my life is much richer for the fact that I can shop online. There are still some things that I can't buy online, but I really do. I'm very grateful for the fact that the world is at my fingertips online, and I can buy things that I just normally wouldn't have been able to buy. Now that I can shop from my computer, from the comfort of my sofa.
I think that's cool. So lots of good things there. And that is the end of the tag.
Thank you, Christi.
I thought that was a great one.
For that one. And do go over to Christi's little reborn journey and check her out. She's great. Now, before we go, just a little question I wanted to ask you. I have noticed that, I don't want this to make anyone feel bad or anything. I really need some info. I've noticed that when I do changes lately, I'm getting less people wanting to see them, less people commenting. Don't let this worry you. I know that life happens and people have got other things to do, especially at this time of year. But all I wanted to ask you was, are the changes getting boring? Is there anything else that you'd like me to do? Are there any babies that you'd like to see more of? What can I do different? Because obviously I have limitations. I can't take the babies outside. We don't have an outside. And obviously because I'm in a wheelchair and stuff like that, I can't do outings with them. So kind of sitting here and chatting or changing them or feeding them is basically my limit. But if there's anything that you particularly want me to do or want me to try, I'd be glad of some feedback, because I'm worried that you're all getting bored to death with me. I do the best I can to always put nice outfits on the babes, but I'm just worried that you're all getting bored to death with me doing the same thing over and over and over. So any feedback you'd like to give me, I'd be very glad for. Thank you for that. And we will now love you and leave you. Back tomorrow with Lacey. She's got some cool surprises to open.
She has.
And of course Jack will be in the video too, so do come back and join us for that. In the meantime, take care of yourselves.
And enjoy your babies. And let's be good to each other.
Bye-bye.
Bye.